Hi again. So this one, we're going to be taking a look at Mikon's newest Hog Cycle that utilizes Lightning and the Elixir Collector and Mega Minion, fast cycling of the Skeletons and Ice Spirit Princess against Giant Poison, against the, famous Giant Poison. So let's talk about this deck a little bit. This deck is it's conventional in that it uses, you have the Hog, right, is the sort of centerpiece of this deck. You have the duo of the Ice Spirit and the Skeletons, the 1 Elixir cards that are easily cyclable and are great when paired with Hog Rider and Elixir Collector. These cards are, if you've noticed, very prevalent in like these Hog cycle decks, and just these Elixir Collector cycle decks in general. There's a Princess here for great wave clear. You have this very flexible anti-air card that you sort of need for the AoE. Cheap also. You have Mega Minion here. Mega Minion gives you that anti-air strength in the strength. Cheap, pretty cheap card. Does a lot of damage. Inferno Tower for the giants, for like these lava hounds, golems that you'll meet. Elixir Collector to keep your up your plays. And then this is the most interesting aspect here. We're running Lightning in this deck. There's no zap, there's no poison, there's no freeze, nothing like that. This deck actually doesn't need it. The Lightning here makes this deck so good against anti-giant. I mean, it makes it so good against giant in general. It also has a great matchup against Three Musketeers, obviously. Has great matchups against these great strong meta decks like Minor Inferno that you see. One of the biggest weaknesses to this is decks that are very fast, that have a lot of cards that need to be zapped or played. Essentially, yeah, like zap, like Fire Spirits, Goblins, Minions, Goblin Barrel, because this deck doesn't run zap, blog, nothing like that. None of these instant wave clears. And against those kind of decks, you have to play very precisely. You need to hold on to your Ice Spirits, your Mega Minions, your Princess for her AoE. Other than that, this deck does great against these really strong meta decks. Alright, let's go into the game. This game was a game against this player called Bing, I believe. In this deck too, it's a pretty strong control deck. Basically the way you want to play it is you want to get your pumps up, defend your pumps with like Ice Spirit, Skellies, and Mega Minion. Pump up, be able to, if they have a pump, right, you want to be doing hog pushes with Lightning. If they throw down something that will die to Lightning, like Mega Minion, or will be severely hindered by it, like Mini P.E.K.K.A, Musketeer, Ice Wizard, stuff like that. You don't really want to play Lightning outside of cards that will die to Lightning, or else they can counterattack. Like, if I saw him play Prince on the defense, I would actually not Lightning that. I've said this before, and very often too, but when you play princesses, and this will come up later in the video, always play princesses into the opposite lane that you see a push coming, so that, like, what this does is, I'm pretty sure other players know it, but I want to reiterate this point because, newer players might not know, or they just haven't thought about it. But when a push is coming here, like say this giant is coming, I play Princess over here. What happens is that the Princess walks into the other lane, and because of her immense range, she'll be able to shoot safely from across the board to the push, to the incoming push. It does like two things. Well, it does actually three things. Three main things that are coming to my mind right now. One, it forces Elixir that they have to play to kill off the Princess. That is either troops or like a spell like Poison Fireball. Two, it puts dual lane pressure. Like if you push if the princess goes into this lane up here, you can push onto this side, and then they have to deal with both sides at once if they don't take care of the princess. The third thing is that it keeps her safe the entire time if it doesn't get answered to, and she can just shoot consistently over and over again and get like her value's worth. So right now I play a pump because I see a giant coming. Giants are pretty slow. 5 elixir. They're like a stagger card. I don't take it seriously until I start to see units dropped behind the giant, like Prince Mega Minion, right? I have a pump up on him already. If, say, I see a Mega Minion come out, then I know that this push is serious. I know that he cannot, like, throw all of these cards down, plus poison, plus pump up at the same time. Because I pump up, I want to live. If I live, I'm ahead. So I drop Ice Spirit, I get to my Inferno, I drop Inferno, I'm waiting, I see Mega Minion, and I see Prince. From here, I can do two things. I can just lightning everything, and everything is dead. Or I can drop, like, a Princess here. Princess right into the other lane. So that she shoots everything here. And then I also have enough to drop Mega Minion. I can drop Mega Minion here. Right, because this is where he placed the Mega Minion. If you watch my last video, all giant players will play Mega Minion all the way to the opposite side of the Inferno, so that because the Mega Minion can just walk straight to the tower, and then I can just like defend the Prince with this skeletons that's coming up. You know, me being cognizant of the next card that's in my hand, so I can plan out. If I lightning everything here, let's think about the pros and cons of let's say lightning is choice 1, and then defending with Princess, Mega Minion, skeletons, and whatever comes up next is choice 2. Either way, we're looking to just defend this and keep a pump advantage. If you lightning here, then that means if he pumps up, I cannot have lightning to take out his pump. That's all it is. If I defend with my units, and I feel like I can because I think I set up everything correctly, then I can hog push with lightning on the next turn. So I decide to just lightning it all out, because I just don't really feel like having to finesse my way out of that situation. I also see him throw down poison, which tells me that he cannot poison my next pump. That means if I want to be ultra safe, I can just lightning everything and then pump up myself. And I'm still ahead because of this pump over here. I basically did a defense of, let's see, Giant is 5, Prince is 5, Mega Minion is Mega Minion is 3, Poison is 4, that's 10, 13, that's 17 elixir. I played 5, that's 10, I dropped Ice Spirit, I dropped Lightning. So that's 5, 5, 10, 11, 17. 17... I mean, that's like maybe 1, 2 elixir above it, but I still have a pump on him, and this pump is gonna put me ahead, is gonna make that difference up, plus I get another pump here. So I'm gonna play it safe, play another pump over here. You also don't play collectors over here. I see a lot of players play collector in the middle. Well, I mean, in the beginning of the game, but this isn't the beginning of the game. They'll play the collector in the middle. If you see a giant, don't play collectors in the middle. If you play collectors in the middle, the giant walks in. He gets a value poison on the Inferno, on the pump, on the defending units. If you put the pump back here, he can either... Sorry about all these circles. He can either poison like this, or he can poison like that. But he has to split his decision. The more ways you make your opponent... to force your opponent to think differently, the better it is for you. So right now, I have some choices to make. I see a pump on the left side. I know from my card cycle that if I drop Ice Spirit and Hog Rider, I'll be either at my Lightning, then I can Lightning him, or I'll be very close to my Lightning. But the other way I can play this out, which... what was I about to say? Yeah, I can either play these two first, or I can stagger my elixir and play Princess into the opposite lane. I like to play princesses away from my collectors, so that they can't poison them. They can't get a value poison on both. The princess will walk into this lane, and then I'll be looking to play Hog Rider and Lightning into here. You know, this is still depending on like what he does. Like if he all-ins me right now, then I have to just defend it. So I drop Hog Rider. I know that my Lightning's in my hand, and I'm waiting right now. I'm sitting here waiting. Does he drop guard? If he drops guards, I don't Lightning. If he drops Ice Spirit, I don't Lightning. If he drops anything but his Mega Minion, then I don't Lightning. So he just drops the guards and goes into a giant push. So I know now that like I don't really want a Lightning here because I see only a giant and a Mega Minion. I don't see like a Prince here, so the Lightning is just not worth it. I play Inferno, I drop the Princess into the other lane, I drop the Skeletons to take that Ice Spirit, and then I play the Mega Minion to counter his Mega Minion that goes directly to the tower. And just like that, his push is negated, I got his damage down, I can pump up again. I pump up here at 5 elixir because I know that he has to defend, he has to react to this Princess on the other side, which means that he can't just like, well, he can all in me, but I'm pretty confident that I can defend like anything that comes out. He also can't pump up himself. If he pumps up, say like he pumps up over here, my Princess would get like 2-3 more shots off, and he makes the decision instead to just drop a Prince to deal with a Princess. That's a terrible trade for him. You don't ever want to do that. If I can deal with this Prince, that's it. So I start to kite this Prince, dropping the Ice Spirit like over here. The Ice Spirit outranges the Prince, so if you drop it so that it doesn't just like land directly on the Prince, the Ice Spirit will freeze the Prince. I drop the Princess. I want to pull this. I want to just continually pull this Princess, and I also play Princess into the opposite lane. If I played Princess like, you know, into the lane with the Prince, she would have walked into the poison, but it's pretty negligible. I see the Mega Minion here, but I don't think it's worth poison Lightning because there's no pump here. I would get Tower, Mega Minion, and that's about it. I want to try and get value Lightnings. I also know that I'm ahead, so I want to hold onto this Lightning in case he drops something crazy on me. I play like my units when you're playing like with Princess, when you're playing with like these Inferno Towers buildings on defense, think of your defense as like barriers, like layers, right? Your Inferno is your first line of defense, your Princess is your second one, your Ice Spirit, my Ice Spirit I played over here is used to just help my first line of defense to like stay on the map longer and longer. That's the great thing about Ice Spirit against these giant pushes, that it can freeze everything if played well because of its radius. He poisons me. I'm not really too sure what the poison is there for. It just means that I can, you know, pump up again every time I see that poison. He doesn't drop like anything significant over there, so I don't poison him. At this point, I get two Princes on him, and then I kite him around, and I can just start doing more hog pushes with Lightning. I see this Mega Minion, I'm just gonna Lightning his tower. Everything dies. I take the tower, and now it's just a matter of defending for the last 10 seconds. Yep, good game. Good game. So we can review what we just learned from this game. Against Giant, a lot of Giant is just a lot of patience, like knowing when to defend with everything that you have, or defending just enough so that you can get by. Your goal against Giant, in the same vein of my Minor Inferno video, is just deal with their pumps, Lightning or poison them when you are ahead or behind. Like, you want to live, and then have them make choices, make inefficient choices. Do they poison your tower and try to get through, which most likely they won't if you have all your units correct, or do they play the pump game with you, which case you can win because Lightning is incredibly strong. They can't drop Mega Minion, they have to drop something like a Prince on you. This deck has a lot of finesse to it. Like, you want to defend your pumps, obviously. Play Princess in the opposite lane, keep them alive, knowing how to stagger your elixir so that you're not just sitting on 10 elixir every time. But stuff like that will come with experience. Thank you for watching. If you like this kind of content, just, I don't know, I'm probably going to be posting this to Reddit, so put it in the comments if you want to see more. I have tons more videos, not just against giant poison, but you can see other things like against minor poison if that's what you're dealing with. What else is like really big? Three Musketeers, like this deck, Rex 3 Musketeers, P.E.K.K.A decks, etc, etc. How to play against these really fast cycle decks, of which you see. I don't think I lose to one here, but well, thank you for watching.